fact that Hong Kong is not a democracy. We've never been a democracy, and we are fighting very hard to become one, but we don't know when that's going to come about. It's very important that we have an independent media and an independent public service broadcaster. It's very important because the freedom of expression, the freedom of people's access to information is very, very important. Press freedom, editorial independence is very important. And whether we like it or not, although Radio Television Hong Kong is a government department, but in the recent few decades, it has tried hard to serve Hong Kong as a public service broadcaster. Hence, the various surveys conducted by the various universities consistently found that it is a news organization which commands the most public support and has the highest degree of credibility. Because some people would find it very surprising for a government department to be doing news and current affairs and to be so much trusted by the Hong Kong people. Because there are other commercial stations, but RTHK has that record. But having said that, of course, Madam Chairman, I also want to point out that its record in the last few years has not been that shining. I think RTHK, like other news media organizations, has been subjected to a lot of political pressure, and hence there is this tendency for self-censorship. Or maybe, you RTHK people know better than anybody else whether who actually make the phone call to you, or whether you yourself would decide that certain things should not be published. Hence, you would not even bother to gather the news and assemble it. I have asked a question in LegCo about the number of times that government officials have called up Radio Television Hong Kong to make inquiries or to try to put pressure. And of course, they say they cannot give us an answer because they don't count the number of calls they make. They say they do it all the time to other news organizations as well. If they have published something that's not correct, they will, do it to correct it. But I don't think it's as simple as that. I certainly hope that people working in RTHK can come out and tell us a bit more. And I think some of you did, but those people have already left RTHK because there was a forum not too many weeks ago on one evening held at the Chater Garden.
Yeah,
which
candlelight Israel.
Yeah. No, some of people actually went on stage. Some of the ex-staff of Radio Television Hong Kong told us how government interfered with the editorial independence of RTHK. So, in short, I think it is very important for Hong Kong to have a credible public service broadcaster. RTHK right now claims to be one, but it is a government department. So the right thing to do is to provide a role for it to transform itself into that. But very, very sadly, the report, which was published by the Raymond Wong Committee, that was appointed by the Chief Executive, came out. It did not do much research on that issue. But then it came out with the finding that Hong Kong needs a public service broadcaster, but it's not going to be RTHK, because it's not right for RTHK to take up that role. And we found it very, very disappointing. And the government was supposed to come to LegCo for money to create a new post so as to take forward the consultation process based on the Raymond Wong report. And I said, no way. I said, if you're going to consult the public, you have to do it wider, not just on the Raymond Wong report, which has ruled out RTHK transforming itself into a public service broadcaster. You should at least include that as a possibility. Some people would say, of course, we should even go further to say how that's going to happen. But if you use the Raymond Wong report, which has done very little research on that, how can then you go out and canvass the public? But anyway, to cut a long story short, the government then did not come to ask for money. And because there's this handover, because Joseph Wong, the secretary, is gone, and now we've got a new secretary, Fred Ma, so they say they will find resources internally. But no matter what, I think that when they publish the consultation paper, it should state quite clearly the government's position. And I hope it will be a position saying that RTHK should be given a chance to transform itself into Hong Kong's public service broadcaster and to map out the road, how that should be done. Otherwise, I think it would be really terrible. RTHK is a symbol. It's a symbol of free expression, a symbol of quality broadcasting.
But wouldn't that be a contradicting to what you said earlier, that the self-censorship is actually so rampant?
I would like to encourage the staff of RTHK to be bold, to do what is right. Not so much to be pro the Democrats, no. Just be independent and fearless. But I know that sometimes you are subjected to pressure. But then all journalists are. If all of us say, oh well, I can't take this pressure, I just yield, then we very soon will have no press freedom. And journalists have told me, they eminently loud, there is no such thing as press freedom. It's only the freedom of the boss.